Hey, Slick Talkers, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. And I know that if you love this show, you'll also love my morning show called Good Morning Hospitality with my co hosts Michael Golden and Brandy Canali, as we spend 30 minutes every Monday morning to dive into the industry's top latest news and trending topics. So go check it out on wherever you find your podcasts at Good Morning Hospitality. And you can live stream with us on Monday mornings on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Now, I hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast where we discuss all things hospitality, hotels, and business. You can find us online at slicktalkthepodcast.com and on every podcast listening platform.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Slick Talk, the hospitality podcast. And of course, another beautiful day here in Seaside. I got my man Adam Knight on the other line, who is the owner of Proven Principles. We've been doing a couple episodes together about, hotel and hospitality management, what it's like to be a good manager, the difference between service and hospitality, and how to differentiate yourself from your property or from other properties in your area. So today, Adam and I are going to talk about how the low unemployment rate and job market is super, super good right now for job seekers, and how hotel owners and restaurant owners can reduce turnover. So everybody, welcome back, Adam Knight from Proven Principles.
Hey, Will. Good to be here.
Good. Glad to have you back. How's your journey been since the last time that we talked?
Yeah, all good. It's been a bit of a whirlwind the last, I guess it's been about a month now. So moved up to Seattle from San Francisco, and have been doing a little bit of travel around the country, out specifically on the East Coast. So things are busy, things are good, and 2019 starting with a bang.
That's the way to do it. That's what I like to hear. We kind of talked a little bit in our emails, going back and forth about pretty much just the current job market right now and what that's looking like for job seekers, and not only job seekers, but how to reduce turnover if you're in a restaurant or hotel. So right now, what I'm kind of wanting to talk about, or at least start off on this conversation, is just the job seekers market right now. What advice from a point and just a standpoint of the current position that you're in, for a job seeker right now, what are you looking for? Why is it their market right now? Why is it that everybody pretty much is able to get a job? Like, explain into your side of things on what you see.
Yeah, this time in hospitality right now is a little unique in the sense that this really is a job seekers market. And what I mean by that is that in a lot of cities, most cities, there are a record number of hotel openings that have happened and that are about to happen. So there's a lot of new construction, especially if you live near a major market city, new restaurants opening in major markets as well. And the sad reality is that there's not necessarily a growing pool of workers to staff all of the open positions in these new hotels and restaurants. So if you're looking to get into hospitality, now is as good a time as ever to do that, because honestly, employers are scrambling to get enough people in the door to run their businesses.
And it's not just enough people as in workers, but like actually passionate people that are going to be driven and motivated to do excellent work. Am I correct, or am I
you're
wrong on that aspect?
No, you are absolutely correct on that front. I don't want what I'm saying to be misconstrued. It's not like you're going to just be able to walk in the door and get any job that you apply for. The fundamentals still hold true today, where if you have experience, that's always a good thing. But more importantly, employers today are looking for people that have the talent to deliver on the expectations of the role, that they have a customer service mentality and a desire to really, truly help people. That is always going to trump, walking in with zero experience and, zero motivation to actually do whatever the job is that you're doing. If you've got the talent and certainly if you have a little bit of experience in the industry behind you,
Totally.
you're going to go very far. But that shouldn't be something that discourages people. If you haven't worked in the industry before, but you have a passion for serving others and you have a real desire to make an impact, you'll go far.
I agree. And I'm not a fan of the fake it till you make it type phrase. But honestly, if you don't have experience and you come in with that mindset of wanting to serve and you have the ability to adapt and learn very quickly, I think you'll be fine as well. Because I don't know, when I first got my job at a 5-star Marriott hotel, I had never worked in a hotel before. Never. And I walked in off the street with that mindset of, okay, I've been really good with people. I have, I'm the 7th child, so I'm very interactive and, I've grown up in social gatherings where people were everywhere and it's just always been around people. So you know what? I'm just going to go in with that mindset. I went in and boom, on the spot, hired. So
absolutely. It's so true. Being personable, being engaging, smiling, giving more than one word answers in an interview,
Exactly.
asking probing questions in an interview to learn more about the job or the company, giving examples about times that maybe aren't directly related to previous work experience, but times maybe that you've helped family or friends with, different situations that come up, or if you've volunteered before, or even if you've done some work in school, whether you volunteered in high school or in college, or maybe you had an internship kind of a job where there's some transferable skills that you did in that job that you can bring into your hospitality career. Those are all things that you can draw on that you should be demonstrating when you go in for an interview.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins and Gary Vee. And one of my favorite things that Tony said in the past when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey and stuff, and just kind of diving into that self-motivation aspect of it, is the more you invest in yourself, the more worth you become to others and the more you're able to provide. And for me, I just on a personal note, I've always had a hard time with, I'm not good at this, I can't do that, or, not knowing that I actually was. It was just kind of that self-doubt. But the more, it's proven in my own life, and forgive me for being a little cheesy, but it's a proven principle I've used in my own life on the, the more you invest in yourself, whether it's a simple online course or, maybe going out of your way to actually learn something through just a free certification class or whatever it may be, diving in and studying something on your own or doing it at work and learning the trade. The more you invest in yourself, the more you're able to provide to the company, the more you're going to be better off. They're going to be able to benefit from you. And that's a good feeling, because when you get off work for, your 2 days off, and then you come back and everyone's like, oh my gosh, we missed you. We don't know how to run this place without you. And that's a good sign that not only did you have the talent, but you've adapted and you definitely invested in yourself enough times where you're providing a lot to that company.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. The more that you seek out training, the more that there's you have a focus of self-development on yourself.
Exactly.
It also changes your perspective and your ability to contribute into different aspects of the business. So it doesn't keep you so narrow focused in what it is that you're doing. If you want to just say you're working at the front desk and you want to get into a managerial role, well, the more understanding that you have of, say, basic accounting principles, so that you can run a checkbook and you can understand how to read a P&L, or maybe, even if you don't have that formal schooling, but you seek those learning avenues out with your current employer, it's just going to make you that much more well-rounded.
Exactly. And it's also, kind of like what you said, the front desk, you can learn a lot, because when you're there, you can see the back end of things, how operations work, budgeting and everything that goes into it, ordering, if you're a small boutique hotel, like the one that I'm at, then I help order the coffee, the breakfast supply, whatever it is. And you get to kind of see the back end of that kind of stuff and learn on how that company functions and what their overall operation like strategy is, which is very beneficial for you because if you're ever to leave or go anywhere else or even start your own, you can kind of pick and pull from places you experienced and overall becomes a good tool belt for you in the future.
That's exactly right. And, not all experience is necessarily good experience. And what I mean by that is, as you're going through your journey, kind of getting into the industry and experiencing different ways of running departments or different ways of running a restaurant, you're going to pick up things that you like from some leaders and things that you don't like from other leaders. This is all, at the end of the day, it's all good experience because it's going to help you take the good, take the bad, and to know how to hopefully lead teams and be successful in running departments going forward because you've seen so many ways of doing things.
Of course. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much the perfect way I could say it. I wanted to kind of jump in on the side of being an owner or let's say higher up management for a hotel or restaurant. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I've noticed and something I've done, at least in the last year or so, is when looking for a new employer or a better opportunity or whatever it may be. I don't know if you've done this before, Adam, but I've noticed I've done it and a couple other people that I've talked to in and out of the industry are doing is that they are reading the business reviews on Google, Facebook. They're checking out their social medias. They're doing a little bit more research than normal than just saying, oh, this looks like a great job on a advertisement for Indeed or whatever, and just going with the flow. They're actually diving into the company's website, their socials, their reviews, the good and bad comments on everything. And for me, I don't know, if I were an owner at this standpoint, do you think that is something that people should be watching out for? Or do you think that's I don't know, for me, I think it's a smart tool for any job seeker, but probably a bad idea if you have bad reviews.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a trend that we're seeing more and more in hospitality. So, having lived in San Francisco for a number of years, I know that there's a site called Glassdoor that is pretty highly used in the tech field. I'm sure there's other industries that use this as well. But, for those that don't know what it is, that's a review site where current and former employees can review an employer. Just like in our industry now, there's a review site, feels like they're a dime a dozen right now, where guests can review your product and your service. Mm-hmm. Now, Glassdoor and sites like Glassdoor are starting to be used more and more in hospitality. So nothing is hidden behind the curtain anymore. From a hospitality perspective, whether it's your employees or whether it's your guests, everything is now out in the open, and anybody can see anything about how it is you're running your business and what things are doing. And again, as this conversation now turns to the job market, and yes, it's a job seekers kind of a market. Mm-hmm. That also means that it's very competitive from the management and the owner's perspective to attract the right talent. And if you don't have good internal reviews about your culture and how you treat people, mm-hmm. You're going to find it exceedingly difficult to get the right talent in the door to fill those open jobs. Because again, that labor pool is not getting any wider. There's more hotel rooms opening. There's more restaurant seats opening up. There's more businesses competing for the same number of employees. And so you've got to be firing on all cylinders.
Very true. And I don't know, when I first started, the only thing I cared about when seeking for employment was the hourly wage now, or the salary, whatever it may be for you. But that's all I cared about, as long as, I was getting good hours and all that good stuff. But now I think as we mature into our careers and hell, even the millennials today that have, are just jumping into this hospitality restaurant thing. They're starting to look at more of, okay, yeah, my hourly or salary wage is good, but what is my not only benefits of like 401k, paid time off, and everything else like that, but they're also looking for compensation, such as, let's say, what's the word for pretty much doing good incentives. Let's say, yeah, they're looking for other incentives, management development, such as having a relationship mentor where they pour into them and teach them the trade and kind of what they've done in their past and their career. But, that development of, I don't want to just be a start out agent for the rest of my life. I want to be an owner or a GM or operations manager. So for you, as I can tell you're eager to answer, what's some better, I don't know, for an employer standpoint, what can you do to better attract the good quality employees that you're seeking?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's, at this point, it's the $1 million question. And
exactly.
I don't think necessarily that anybody has truly answered it. Because if they did, we wouldn't be having this discussion. But
and it varies per property and per role. I think, for a boutique to answer that question, and for a 700 room 5 diamond resort to answer that question, it would be a little bit different.
Yeah, it would be. And what I'll say is this, though, is there are plenty of employers out there, hotel managers, hotel owners, restaurant managers and owners that aren't even hitting the basics. So, they're not making sure that there are development opportunities for their team. They're not treating their staff in a way that makes them feel appreciated and that they're contributing something to the greater good or the greater organization. There's some of the things that we've talked about on previous episodes that if you're not doing the basics, you can offer all the perks in the world, but if people don't want to work there because they don't feel valued, then your efforts really fall flat. So, with that, if you do have the basics covered and you find that you're still competing with other employers out there and you're not getting the right talent in the door, one of the things that we saw a lot of success with in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, is some of the more non-traditional benefits being offered to employees when they're coming in that seem to get a little bit of traction. And one of the areas that we had a lot of success were health and wellness benefits. So providing things like subsidized gym memberships, providing diet consultations, and if doing even internal cultural events, like whether it's like a Whole30 challenge at the beginning of the year, or everybody's on a paleo challenge halfway through the year, or doing I listen to Joe Rogan's podcast Sober October, if that's a thing that you want to do. Developing some familial bonds through those types of internal challenges, helping people be better, when it comes to their health and wellness. Meditation apps, and you can subsidize or provide to your employees. Now, these may not apply directly to your business, but what I'm trying to give is an example of thinking outside the box in a way that you can provide something that's a little bit non-traditional. Yes, there's a little bit of an expense to it, but if you could reduce your turnover, not only just attracting new people, but reducing your turnover, you're not going to have to go out and compete as hard in this difficult labor market to find good talent. So whatever you can do to reduce your turnover is going to put you in a better position.
Totally agree. And I was going to say, it's maybe stupid for me to say this, but I'm going to say maybe even better holiday parties. Like, to be honest, I've worked for a lot of companies, and around the holiday, there's no holiday party or very little holiday party, and I don't know, I feel like that's a time where you should be able to like feature is because, again, I'm super passionate about connection. And you may not be able to hear it in my voice on this podcast just because I'm a little getting over a little cold, feeling a little raspy, but this company is just something that I can get behind as a industry leader or analytic or consultant. This is a company I can really get behind and support and promote and, say that they genuinely care. No company is perfect. Trust me. I've been in many of them the last few years, from Spokane to here. And, no company is perfect, but man, does this company have a good product, a good, just a good overall culture and great product. So I kind of just wanted to share that. Thank you guys again for joining. You can definitely check out everything I just talked about, plus a little bit more detail in my blog post with this podcast on slicktalkthepodcast.com. You can also find it out on our social media and everything too. But I do just want to say, guys, like if you're going to visit the beat
and seeking out educational opportunities to learn and kind of round out their experience, this new market is forcing managers to do the exact same thing. They've got to think outside the box. They have to better round out their perspective and their experience to try to stay ahead of the curve because it is so competitive.
Exactly. It's I don't know. It's just kind of an aspect where you really have to think about what are we a thrive or are we a die environment, pretty much for either new employees or current employees. One thing I've kind of seen just out here on the coast is great company has great products, great properties, owns half the city pretty much, and is known for their excellent service standards, but internally they struggle with their management and their leadership being passive aggressive, not supporting the lower staff or overworking them, or just being very hypocritical in a way. Yet the owner never finds this out, doesn't know. Nobody, there's a high turnover. They don't know why, but yet the people that are kind of counseling the owner aren't telling him why. And so for kind of what I was asking is how, for pretty much this owner or for any owner that has high turnover but can't see the answer to why, and being the current management staff, what's some ways that you can kind of keep your management team accountable, I guess, in how they're operating, how they're doing the day-to-day, and how they're treating the lower staff? So I have a pretty high standard, but if you think there's somebody out there or a company out there that deserves it, let me know. Message me, inquire me, whatever it may be. I would love to talk hotel, get some coffee, do whatever. If you have any questions, feel free to go to my website, Slick Talk the Podcast, or openroadhospitality.com, and I will answer any questions. You can also see blogs, podcast episodes, everything you need to know. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. We love your support and want to provide the best we can to all our listeners. So please find us online, social media, and on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast.
What's up, everybody? If you've gotten this far into the episode of Slick Talk, the Hospitality Podcast, then you are amazing, and thank you so much for tuning in. We want to send you two places really quickly. If you can, check out the show notes and click the hospitality.fm link. Check out all of our other shows on the podcast network. And don't forget, if you have someone that you want to hear on the podcast, then fill out the guest fill out form so that way we can get them on the show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy another episode of Slick Talk, the Hospitality Podcast.